What's up, my crypto legends? In this episode, we're not taking a look at the Bitcoin price in the immediate short term because it looks like we are stuck at that $47,000 range. We're going to 46, we're going back to 48. So basically, if you want to know what I think about Bitcoin in the next coming days and weeks, you better check out yesterday's or before yesterday's video where I explained the potential situation in January. Now in today's episode, what I want to show you is the potential future for the next 4 to 8 years on Bitcoin, because I'm going to compare it here with the dollar index, and the dollar index is the strength of the actual dollar. Now every time the dollar index topped out, Bitcoin has bottomed out, and every time that the dollar index has bottomed out, the Bitcoin price has topped out. So I want to show you what could potentially happen in the next coming years for Bitcoin in this episode. Hello there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoinsensus. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Daily TA in Bitcoin crypto. Also to live streams to connect with the community. Now, you probably already know this, but if you're new to the space and new to the channel, what I want to talk about today is the Bitcoin price and the dollar index. All right, right over here on the chart in the green, we have the linear DXY, the dollar index, the strength of the dollar from 2010, and here back in the candlesticks we have Bitcoin from 2010. This is on the weekly chart, okay, till today here, 2002, as you can see. Now, what I want to show you, all right, from 2010, all right, when Bitcoin had an excellent run up and peaked right over here around about $30 in 2011, we had the DXY having a run down, okay? It was losing value. As soon as the dollar index bottomed out and was going to the upside, this was when Bitcoin peaked and had a bear market, as you can see here on the chart. So I just want to show you a couple of examples on why they have an inverse correlation, right? Where the Bitcoin dominance, not the Bitcoin dominance, the DXY, the dollar, bottoms out, it loses value, creating lower highs, and it bottoms out. This is when Bitcoin has a run up, and then when we bottomed out and have a massive rally on the DXY, on the dollar, you actually have a bear market on Bitcoin. And when the dollar index tops out is when Bitcoin has a massive rally. Now, as you can see here in 2017, this is when Bitcoin almost hit to $20,000. We can see that Bitcoin topped out there, and the DXY was just bottoming out in February of 2018. And this is when the DXY, the dollar index, started to have a very nice rally to the upside. And Bitcoin entered that multi-year, 2018, 2019 bear market, as you can see here on the chart. Now, something interesting, back in 2020, March of 2020, guys, we did have that Black Swan event, and the dollar index gained a huge amount of value. This is when we saw everything have a massive crash, such as Bitcoin, the traditional stock market, and the dollar obviously gained a lot of value because there was a lot of demand. Everybody was selling everything to have dollars. Now, the dollar had a massive spike here in gaining value back in March of 2020, and this was when the Bitcoin price had a bottom, right? When we did have that massive crash all the way down to the low $3,000 levels. Now, after that, we know the deal. The dollar index started losing a massive amount of volume, and the Bitcoin price had a massive rally, giving us a $65,000 BTC by April of 2021. And what I want to show you right over here on the chart is what is happening today. And what has happened today is that, the dollar index did find a bottom, all right? And this was in May. This is when we started to crash, all right? BTC went from $65,000 to low as $30,000, in a matter of a couple of weeks. So what happened here is that the DXY, the dollar index, had a massive rally from the summer, all right, all the way up here from now December. But what has happened to Bitcoin is that we haven't had massive bear market because we only just hit all-time highs in November of 2021. So the dollar index was kind of gaining value, but the BTC price wasn't losing a massive amount of value. So, I think this is because of people are quite aware of the actual money printing that there has been going for the last year. and also the interest rates close to zero. And I think there is a possibility, and I'm going to show you this chart over here looking at the DXY, the dollar index. We are in a massive downtrend, and this is all the way, this is on the monthly chart. Every candlestick is a month. I'm going as far as 1986 here on the dollar index, the value of the dollar. And by the looks of this chart, it is pretty clear that we are creating lower highs right over here. This high was in 2001, all right, when we had the dot-com bubble, remember? And over here, we do have 2017 and 2020. We are basically creating lower highs. And you can also see that we are creating lower lows. With this is 1992, 1995, and we have here 2008 creating lower lows. So it is clear that we are in a downtrend. And what is the matter right now is that we are very, very close to the top of this descending channel, right? We're almost hitting that resistance point. And in my opinion, with the uncertainty worldwide, with the money printing, I do not think that in the next 4 years, 6-8 years, the dollar index is going to gain a huge amount of value. I think that it will be losing value with time, like it just has been doing, all right, for the last few decades. So my theory here is potentially maybe this year, next year, we're not going to see too much price action to the downside on the DXY, which is actually going to go slightly up. And we might be reaching the highs from back of March of 2020. So there's going to be a little bit of volatility in between Bitcoin, all right, for Bitcoin. Now, my theory right over here, looking at the RSI, okay, we did create some massive hidden bearish divergence, all right? And hidden bearish divergence means that you might be continuing the trend. And in this case, it is to the downside. This is a macro trend monthly RSI. And what I can see over here, that the RSI was creating lower lows and the price action was creating higher lows, as you can see right there. And this means that you are creating hidden bullish divergence, which is very, very likely that you are going to, finally pop and continue the trend to the downside. Now, what's happening right now on the DXY is you are creating something very, very similar. And this is going from all the way back to 2014, where you are creating, all right, higher lows right over here on the chart, but you are creating lower lows on the RSI. And this is telling me that at some point, and this is not going to happen anytime soon, that it might be this year, might be next year. We still got some time, because this is the monthly chart, remember, that we might have a little bit of volatility around this range before we actually fall down in the next coming years. All right, guys, this is the most likely scenario. I see a similar scenario if the trend were to continue, and looking at the RSI, it looks like that it might continue in the next coming years. And with the amount of printing, the economy stuck, interest rates close to zero, I think this is the most likely scenario in the coming years, just to show you that a potential super cycle is actually possible for Bitcoin, entering into 2024, 2028, all right, in the next halvings, where we are going to see BTC potentially trading well above $500,000 or even $1 million before 2030, guys. And this would be my theory by looking at the next coming years. So if you're asking me, to buy Bitcoin for the next coming years, I'm going to say yes, it's an incredible store of value. It's going to gain value with time because of this potential situation that I've showed you today. Thank you, guys. This is going to be it for today's episode. Make sure to check out Bitcoinsensus website. The link is down below. Check out my Bybit Prime XBT tutorial to learn how to trade on those platforms. Thank you, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.